The Lakers fail a big test against the Warriors. What is wrong with the Lakers offense, and how will the Western Conference shape up looking into the playoffs? Also, Ja Morant fined $75,000. What is going on with Ja Morant? But he also kind of makes up for it with an epic game winner. We're going to talk about that. Also, Shedeur Sanders throwing out his pro day for Colorado, and a lot of Giant staffers will be in attendance to take it all in. And the Final Four is here, and we're going to talk about the dark side of Duke NIL. That's coming up next on the Big Lead Podcast. What is up, and welcome to the Big Lead Podcast. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor, subscribe to the Big Lead. It's the hottest podcast, the fastest growing sports podcast in the game. And all you have to do is subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment Luka Magic down below, and you'll be eligible for our next big giveaway, a number 77 Lakers Luka Doncic jersey. Comment Luka Magic down below. We're going to pick one winner once we hit 2,000 subscribers. My name is Doug McKain. Friends call me D-Mac. I've been covering sports for over a decade, 24/7 sports, Bleacher Report, Dodgers Nation, Locked On Rams. Also do NFL radio for Westwood One. Got my man J-Rob rocking with us, former college football player for UConn, Tennessee State. Also someone that knows ball like the best of them. We'll check in with J-Rob. I know he wants to maybe slide in something about the UConn women's UCLA game, but I'm only talking about that if UCLA wins, and then we'll touch that topic. But let's talk Lakers first, because last night, Crypto.com Arena, a playoff-like atmosphere. Anytime you got LeBron James going up against Steph Curry, you got to savor these matchups. These are two of the game's greatest players ever, and you never know how many times they're going to be going toe-to-toe. And last night, Steph Curry and the Warriors and Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green, that look like they're all of a sudden this bona fide championship contender, a team that now has gone 12-0 entering their game with this new starting lineup that has Jimmy Butler in it. With this group they had last night, they get the win. The Warriors win 123-116. And this Lakers team did not look good last night offensively. And I think that is the number one takeaway from that game. You got to give Draymond Green credit for the defense at the end, stripping that ball away from Luka Doncic. You got to give Austin Reeves credit for heating up there late. LeBron James playing much better in the second half, gave this team a chance to kind of steal this one late. But just rewinding that first half, the third quarter, the big three offensively, they just do not look good. They do not look like a big three that can contend for a title right now. And I think a lot of that has to do with, yes, that was the worst game that we've seen for Luka Doncic in his time with the Lakers. And yes, LeBron James, I don't think is 100% LeBron James right now. But I also think that as a whole, most likely he's trying to work his way back from injury as well and trying to get back to 100%. But looking at last night's game, and you got to talk about Luka Doncic first. That is the lead here in this game. Luka Doncic just did not look like that Luka Magic, blackout Luka, guy that's going to be a perennial MVP candidate for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. He just could not hit water if he fell off a boat last night. Goes 6 for 17 from the field, 0 for 6 from beyond the arc. The last time Luka Doncic played in a game and failed to score from beyond the arc was April 7, 2023 against the Bulls. Not a good game for Luka Doncic. Even at the end, having a chance to atone for what was his worst game as a Laker, he gets into the lane, gets into the paint, drives to the cup, and Draymond Green does a brilliant job getting his hand on the basketball to not get loose, and that was the game right there. Now, Austin Reeves, got to give LeBron James, Hillbilly Mamba some credit because he played well. He was hot, especially at the end of the game. He scored 20 points, went 6 for 9 from beyond the arc, and he gave the Lakers a chance there late. And I think the other silver lining for last night's game, if you're a Lakers fan, is that LeBron James, he got his groove back later in that one. He was not aggressive in the first half, shot just 4 shots, but was hitting from beyond the arc too. From downtown, he was 5 for 8. So I think if you look at the first half of that game, that's kind of where it was lost. The big three not coming out aggressive, not putting up enough points. And we saw in the win against the Rockets, they didn't win because of the big three. They won because of Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent, who combined for 40 points, where Dorian Finney-Smith also had his worst game as a Laker as well. He did not look good yesterday. Dorian Finney-Smith just had opportunities there, had that big 3-point shot late that just did not go down for him. And Luka, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Gabe Vincent, they shot a god-awful 1 for 17 from 3-point range. So this is not a Laker team that lives and dies by the 3-point shot. In fact, I think one of the big offseason needs for the Lakers is to get that unconscious, consistent 3-point shooter. Austin Reeves currently leads the team in 3-pointers made a game, and he's 23rd in the league. But the Lakers, they're 19th in 3-point attempts. Last season, the two leaders in 3-point attempts, they reached the finals. So, I mean, that's just kind of the current state of the NBA, right? You got to hit threes if you want to win a championship. And I think that's something they need in the offseason. I think Dalton Knecht can be that guy. And Luka Doncic, he actually set the franchise record for most 3-pointers made in a season in March. But clearly you saw in this one, they were outshot earlier in the game. They did come out hot. The Lakers got off to a quick start. They scored 17 points through the first 4 minutes. Then the offense, they completely hit a speed bump. They were stalling, and they ended up trailing 26-22 at the end of the first quarter. And then it was brick after brick, just a brick-laying fest for the purple and gold. They missed 11 straight field goals. They had a scoring drought that was concerning, because you have scoring droughts like that in the playoffs, you're going to lose. You have scoring droughts like that against good teams, you're not going to win games. And on the other side, the Warriors, for some reason, the Warriors look like they're further along in their superstar going to their team transition, right? We know that Luka has played extremely well at times. LeBron James has played extremely well at times. Austin Reeves has been great too. But Jimmy Butler just a few years from being in the finals. The Warriors are a few years from winning an NBA Finals. They feel like with that group, they can contend at least one more time to win another championship. And that was evident to me last night, that I think the ceiling is higher for the Lakers, just because I think Luka at his best, where he's at in his career, is higher than Steph Curry and LeBron James. I know it's crazy to say after Steph dropped a 52-piece a couple nights ago and LeBron's still doing what he does, but I think throughout the course of a full 7-game series, Luka is the younger player and he has the more elite ceiling, at least right now. But last night did not look good. Luka Doncic, you need to step up if you want to give this team any hope of making a deep run in the playoffs. And JJ Redick, he said after the game, we couldn't score for 6.5 minutes, and I'm not surprised that they switched everything. We expected that. We scored 69 points in the second half against the same defense. I think we just got a little stagnant, didn't want to move. You got to move. You got to play with force. You got to do the next best thing. So, yeah, I think that was where the game was lost. Not being aggressive enough in the first half, going in that shooting slump. Dorian Finney-Smith, he's very low on the trust tree right now. I mean, like I said earlier, you helped win that game against the Rockets, but I think the Lakers are a team that's so top heavy that maybe occasionally some of those role players come up and they put a little more effort into the group project. But no, the group project has to be done 80% by the big three for this team to have a chance. Guys like Jackson Hayes, DFS, Gabe Vincent, they're important. You can't replace their production, but you need more from the big three. And I was just disappointed with the performance of Luka Doncic. I mean, 0 for 6 from 3. That just in the late, did he lose his aura with the haircut? I don't know. But J-Rob, what'd you make of the Lakers' loss last night and Luka's performance?
Well, I was really hoping that they would get this done. I thought this would be a good game to allow them to have some level of momentum as they head into the next phase of the postseason. However, Luka Doncic going 0 of 6. He played 38 minutes. It was a -3 for the night. Only had 19 points. Only one turnover, but his ability, him not being able to make a 3-point shot, be consistent from the outside, that is a problem because you do need him to be able to do that. I did like that he was 7 of 7 from the free throw line because, sometimes he can be a little erratic at the free throw line at times. However, I'm not going to lose too much of my mind about the game. I'm not going to panic because this is also Luka Doncic, who in the postseason for a career is 39-8 in the 50 postseason games that he's played in. So he is a guy who is expected to elevate in the playoffs. However, I do think for the Los Angeles Lakers to be the best version of themselves in the postseason, Luka Doncic has to be a part of that catalyst. I love that Rui Hachimura had 24, and I love that Austin Reeves had 31, but it is going to be important for Luka Doncic to be at that 25 to 30 plus a night if they want to be able to win in the playoffs. And so it really needs to be LeBron and Luka leading the charge for the Lakers to be the best version of themselves. And so this game definitely wasn't great, but I'm not going to think that this is going to be the story of this team going into the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to look at it if you're a Lakers fan, is that, hey, look, this is a Warriors team that hasn't had to deal with LeBron being out, hasn't had to deal with, look, Luka Doncic has played a lot of minutes and he's adjusting to a new team in a new city, but let's not forget that he did shoot over 40% from 3 in the month of March, and he was elite there, so you're going to have some regression to the mean at some points. I'm not going to look too much into it. It was disappointing for sure, but I think for the Lakers, they're just ready to throw their hat in the ring in the playoffs, see if they can catch fire and see if they can be dangerous. But now we're going to take a look at the Western Conference Finals standings and kind of look at where the Lakers are at right now as far as what to look for. If you want to hate watch, I mean, for me, it's fun to root for teams. It's more fun to root against teams. I mean, you know what I mean? Just let the hate flow and root against the other Western Conference opponents. Because if you look at where the Lakers stand right now, 46-30, they are 4th in the Western Conference. And it's the second last weekend of the regular season, and things are very tight in the West. You just have not seen things as bunched up as this. It is getting crowded here. I mean, they need to bring the fire marshal in because the club is getting a little too crowded right here, because you got the Lakers, you got the Warriors right behind them at 45-31, the Grizzlies at 44-32, 5.5 games back, the Wolves at 45-32, the Clippers at 45-32. So there's not an all-time great team. The Thunder are the elite class of the Western Conference, but after that, 2 through 8, everyone is bunched up right there. There could be a lot of movement in the last week of the season, and the good news for the Lakers is they're still in a good position where you can get as high as the number 2 seed, but a couple of losses and a couple of teams winning, you can fall all the way to the play-in. That's how crazy this could get. So with so many teams that are bunched up together, it really does make a lot of sense to scoreboard watch and look at other teams' results, because you got to pay attention to what other teams are doing. And Friday, tonight, Thunder Rockets, that's a game to look at, because Houston, you can't do what you've done for this stretch here. That is stack wins against under 500 teams. They are 31-11 against losing teams this year, but they're only going to play against teams that are above 500 for the rest of the season. The Rockets have to play OKC. They're also going to be without Dylan Brooks, who was suspended for a game after getting his 16th technical foul. And since the Thunder haven't started to rest their guys, they're still favored to win this game. So I think the good thing for the Lakers is the Rockets heading to this one without their agitator and Dylan Brooks, and you got a Thunder team that, yes, they are going to rest guys, but still too early to say, okay, there's the rest versus rust theory, and you're not going to do it just yet. Then Nuggets Warriors. So this is a good one for the Lakers, right? It's just watching your two enemies go at it and fight, and you're going to benefit and get hurt by a result in this one. But the thing is, the Lakers have the tiebreaker outright over the Warriors, and they're going to have the tiebreaker over the Nuggets as long as they keep their division. So even if the Lakers do lose the Pacific Division, they're going to have a better record against the Western Conference. So they're going to own that tiebreaker against the Denver Nuggets. So who should the Lakers fans root for? A meteor, okay? You want both teams to lose. But the truth is, you just want to still have success, and you have taken care of business for the regular season against the Warriors. And for the Nuggets, you're going to finish with a better record and win that Pacific Division, hopefully. Then Mavericks at Clippers. So you got AD playing. Dallas, they should have a pretty good shot of beating the Clippers. AD's coming off a game winner. I don't know if you guys saw that. Hit a nice game winner against the Hawks. And the Mavericks, they still have a lot to play for because they're trying to fight for that play-in spot. Now, the Clippers, you got Zubats. You're very familiar with him. He's honestly vying for that Defensive Player of the Year award. And in that game, with both of the teams having a lot to play for, it's going to be very, very competitive. So that matchup, you really don't have a dog in the race, but if you fall, then you're in that play-in mode, but that would be a pretty precipitous decline the last week. Now, Saturday, you got Mavericks at Clippers too. Yes, you got a back-to-back. Lakers fans, for this one, you definitely want Dallas to sweep because it'll take the Clippers deeper into that play-in mode, and that at that point will make it very difficult for the Clippers to get to that top 6 in the West. Wolves at Sixers. So Philly, you got Tyrese Maxey out for the remainder of the season. The only way you could probably get a dub if you are Philly in that situation is if old friend Jalen Hood-Schifino, if he goes off, and that's probably not going to happen. So that's going to be a tough result. Then you got the Grizzlies at Pistons. So the Eastern Conference, if you look at their standings, things are a little more cemented than they are in the Western Conference. Detroit, they're going to be the 5th seed or the 6th seed. And with the win over Memphis, that could solidify their spot as the 5 seed. And the Grizzlies have been struggling. They've lost 4 straight games. If they continue to lose, they could be in the play-in. So that's another game that is going to be really relevant for a Western Conference team. And the Pacers at Nuggets. So you look at this game, the Nuggets should win. The Lakers fans should be rooting for the Pacers to win this game. In Denver, they're going to be on the road. So Tyrese Halliburton, you could see having a big game. Possibly the Pacers are hopefully going to give them a test. So that's a game you need the Nuggets to lose. And the Rockets at Warriors on Sunday as well. So it depends on how the week goes. But the Rockets are ahead of the Lakers. The Rockets are ahead of the Lakers. But if Golden State continues to win, they'll be right there with LA. So if Golden State drops in the standings, then the Lakers will want them to win so they can give Houston another loss. So that one's tough to see. But if the 2 seed is still in play, that's another one where you have the advantage against both teams in the standing. So lots to root for in the final couple of weeks of the season. The good thing is tiebreakers over the Warriors, and you got the Pacific Division advantage over the Nuggets. Really, it's just about not going on a precipitous decline. And that is the thing the Lakers have to avoid. Tonight, you got the Pelicans at home. This is a game that you should win by double digits. You got no Zion Williams. He's out for the remainder of the season. The Pelicans have had another disappointing year. And then after that, you got the Thunder on Sunday on the road. That's going to be a tough one. Actually, and then on Tuesday, you got the Thunder too, and then you got the Lakers and the Mavericks on April 9th, and the Rockets and the Trailblazers. So it's kind of a combination of teams that are either play-in, elite but might rest, and then a Rockets team that's still going to have a lot to play for as well. So Lake Show, not happy with last night, but the good thing is you get a back-to-back against a bad team at Crypto.com. Okay, we're going to stay in the association and hit on some comments from Tracy McGrady. So T-Mac, he was on a podcast. He was talking about LeBron James, and he had this to say about LBJ. He said LBJ didn't think very highly of him as a one-on-one player. McGrady said, I think LeBron has been amazing for 22 freaking years. And he's been the best basketball player for, God knows how long. But if you put him in a one-on-one, I think he'll get crushed. Yeah, I think he'll get crushed amongst guys that are actually in the NBA. And I'm sure LeBron will tell you that because his game is naturally built for 5-on-5. He's not a one-on-one basketball player. Kobe Bryant is a one-on-one basketball player. Kyrie Irving is a one-on-one basketball player. James Harden. These guys are one-on-one players, and LeBron can't do anything with that. So I don't know. I just know that we always name the big name guys, but there are some guys out there that you don't think about that really can play one-on-one basketball. So a lot of thoughts on this, and I think extremely highly of Tracy McGrady. If you watched NBA basketball in the early 2000s, he was on another level than Vince Carter. At his prime, he was on another level than Allen Iverson. He was the one guy that was going toe-to-toe with Kobe Bryant, and there was a year where, if you're following the league, a lot of people had T-Mac ahead of Kobe at one point. This man was incredibly talented. If it weren't for injuries, he could have gone down as a top 20 player in the history of the game. Those who watch T-Mac know you kind of had to be there, but that's how good Tracy McGrady was. Kobe has talked about a lot. Who's the guy that gave him the most trouble? It was McGrady. The reason for that is he was a couple inches taller than the rest of these elite small forwards or guards. A guy that was 6'8", 6'9", that could shoot over you, get his shot anytime he wanted to, could dribble, could get to the rim, was explosive, could hit threes before it was even in vogue at that size. So he was a great player. Having said that, there's some truth to what he's saying. That, yes, Kobe Bryant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, they are players that could, on a one-on-one level, be a little more skilled and talented. If we're talking about one-on-one at some random outdoor court somewhere, yeah, James Harden, Kobe, Kyrie, those guys can score for sure. But to use words like he'd get crushed, to use words like he can't do anything with that, that's just flat out disrespectful, not true, and just ridiculous. I will never forget LeBron James and his coming out party. LeBron James's coming out party was against the Detroit Pistons. And the Detroit Pistons in the Western Conference Finals, there was a game where, you know what? It wasn't LeBron going one-on-one. It was LeBron going one-on-5. He single-handedly dismantled that Pistons team that was known for their defense. That people were saying with Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton and Ben Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, this group that had a chance to go down as a potential dynasty. And LeBron James, a young LeBron James, en route to his first finals appearance, went absolutely nuclear against the Pistons in 2007. He scored 25 straight points. At one point, he had scored 29 of the Cavs' last 30 points in their final 25 minutes of the game. I mean, just an absolute masterclass. And go watch the highlights. You had drifting three-pointers. You had step-back fades. You had insane dunks. You mean to tell me if there's a referee there that's actually officiating a one-on-one with LeBron in his prime, he's not getting calls because he's a physical freak? And also, there's another thing, too. You know what? It's a good thing that LeBron is paid to play 5-on-5 and not one-on-one. Okay? And 5-on-5, LeBron's one of the best players of all time because he does make the right reads, he makes the right plays. But to say that he would get crushed is not true. In fact, if it was LeBron versus T-Mac, I think T-Mac probably wins, but it's like 11-9. If it's just straight one-on-one, just because, look, LeBron, if you kind of forced him to shoot on the perimeter, mid-range shots, he's just not as good of a mid-range shooter as a Kobe, as a T-Mac, as I think Harden's kind of overrated if you look at his volume stats. But yeah, I hate this disrespect. I mean, this is just uncalled for. To say you get crushed is just not true. But J-Rob, what do you make of T-Mac's comments?
I thought the comments were absolutely ridiculous. I think we are getting to a point where we have like some level of revisionist history when it comes to LeBron James. The fact that Tracy McGrady said the words, "There's nothing that can be done about when it comes to LeBron James, like Kyrie Irving, this is no disrespect. I think he has the greatest handle I've ever seen. Kyrie Irving is 6 feet 2 inches tall. LeBron James is 6 feet 9, can shoot, handle, get to the rim at will. If they played one-on-one and it was make it, take it, you without a shadow of a doubt believe LeBron James could not do anything with Kyrie Irving again of one-on-one. Like we are so lost with the fadeaway jumper that as long as you have a patented fadeaway jumper that looks good, then you're the ultimate one-on-one player. Because that's what it truly feels like at times. LeBron James, in a game of one-on-one against most of his peers, is probably going to dominate that. And I don't understand, like, it's almost as if when LeBron James does that aesthetically pleasing basketball that all these basketball correspondents talk about, it's almost as if they completely go blind when he does it. But the moment he drives to the rim, left hand, right hand lay, then it's like, oh, he's the best driver in basketball. That's all he can do. You can't be stopped. But nobody ever wants to give him credit for his skill. And to be honest, D-Mac, there are people out there who in their mind truly believe that LeBron James has made it this far in the NBA by just driving to the basket for an entire career. And it is ridiculous. And this commentary by Tracy McGrady, who I have high regard for, high respect for, I just think this is just so disingenuous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, hot take, what T-Mac said about LeBron James was 80, 90 times more offensive than anything Stephen A. Smith ever said about LeBron James. I was shocked that LeBron wasn't on Pat McAfee's show this morning, just absolutely cooking T-Mac because, hey, look, older players, sometimes you hear them talk because they kind of want to stay in the news cycle. Mm-hmm. But yeah, to say you get crushed, it's just flat out ridiculous. To say you get it's just ridiculous. It's not true. And I guess it's kind of one of those things where you just wish that you could have seen these two go at it in their primes. But I like that you point out the revisionist history too, because I mean, T-Mac, are we talking about 2022 LeBron? Or are we talking about prime LeBron? Like, let's get a little specific with your answers there.
Like, it's ridiculous, man. It's absolutely ridiculous.
But state of the association, Ja Morant. Ja Morant, according to Shams Charania, the NBA noted that the two-finger gun motions from Morant in the game against the Heat, and he also had the two-finger gun motions against the Warriors, the finger guns that he was doing. Well, he was fined $75,000 by the league. The max fine is $100,000. And this blows my mind that in the next game, he still flashed those finger guns. My man Ja Morant just does not care. He just does not care at this point. I don't know if I like it or I hate it, but I just know that he does not care. And last night really epitomized the Ja Morant experience, right? You see the athleticism, you see the shot making, and it was a close game. The Heat, the Grizzlies, and makes a nice little jumper. It rolls in for him. And it was great. He picks up the phone. Of course, we know he was calling game because he hit that game winner. But I just want to see Ja Morant just mature just a little bit, man. It's kind of one of those things where you tell a kid to stop doing something. It's like they don't really care what they're doing. They just don't like that you're telling them to stop doing it, so they'll do it again. And that's how kind of what it feels like for Ja Morant. I love the player. I love the style of play. I think the charisma, the aura, the it factor is off the charts. This guy is a star. He should be at the same table as Anthony Edwards. Maybe not Shea, because I think Shea's chilling with Jokic a little bit right now, and Giannis and those dudes. But he should be right there in that very next table of elite superstars in this league, where I hate throwing out the word superstar. I hate doing it. I don't do it for a lot of players. Ja truly has superstar potential because of how athletic he is and how much talent he does have. But yeah, I mean, part of me laughed because, you know, I got a twisted sense of humor. Part of me laughed. I mean, I was envisioning him calling Adam Silver with that, and Adam picking up, be like, who is this? And Ja being like, yeah, turn on your TV. And then Ja being like, pulling out the finger guns, like, it's me, pew, 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 and like, and shooting at him. But yeah, I mean, look, the thing about Ja Morant, man, you got to put this to the end. You got to stop all this, okay? You got to stop all this. And I know you're a shooter, you're a silencer, right? I mean, that was a kill shot for you yesterday, but you got to stop this. And I mean this in the nicest way possible. This is not coming from a hater. This is coming from a lover. I want people today talking about you making the game winner and looking like a star, not talking about the finger guns and you losing $75K. Okay. You'd burn that $75K at the strip club, wherever the hell you want to burn it. Right. I don't want to see you have to do that for a fine. So I'm disappointed. I don't like this, J-Rob, because I like John Morant as a player. And I feel like he's losing a little bit with this unnecessary drama. Yeah,
I definitely think the gesture in the game feels a bit like the defiant child in the house. Like, essentially, Adam, you guys keep equating me to this gun thing, and so is it a big deal? Like, I'm gonna wave my little gun with my celebration. And so obviously they warned him. He did it again. They charged him $75,000. And I will say this might be very unpopular, 100%. And I am not justifying his actions. I do think he has made a bit of a history for himself, and due to that history, there is a certain way that he is going to be disciplined in the NBA. However, if it is that big of a deal, where it's a $75,000 fine, then I do think we just need to outlaw it in the entire NBA. And the only reason I say this is because if you look at the NFL, if they don't like a celebration, do you remember when they had to cut this out and they banned it across the entire NFL? If that means that much to you, Adam Silver, where this is not just you versus one of your employees in the NBA, then you need to outlaw it across the NBA as a whole.
Good point. It's a really good point.
And get rid of it, because if Mikal Bridges is going to be doing this all the time after a three-pointer, then do you really care about it, or do you care who it comes from? And so, I mean, John Morant needs to know better for sure. But I do think if we truly care about preventative gun violence in the NBA and how it influences your young audience, then you need to outlaw it around the entire National Basketball Association.
I think it's a fantastic point, because you're really doing this fine to him because of his past and what he's dealt with. It's more player specific than, you just broke one of our rules. I mean, Westbrook back in the day, he used to hit the holster, right?
Yeah.
He used to hit the holster, and
LeBron did it in the finals too.
Right? And then those guys kind of police themselves, right? They're like, okay, we're just going to retire that. But it's like, I think you use the best word to describe it. It feels like it's defiant at this point. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, look, I think about John Morant. Mm-hmm. He's a great player. He does not need to be doing this stuff. Mm-hmm. The focus needs to be on greatness. Now, switching to the NFL, Shedeur Sanders is one of the most talked about. He is the most talked about player in the NFL draft. I can't recall a quarterback that some think that they would take him first. Some say that he could fall out of the first round. The up and down with him, I think, is front office motivated because it's lying season. I think there's more teams that actually want Shedeur Sanders, that if he fell into their lap, they absolutely would. We talked a little bit about before the show, J-Rob, how I've been hearing that Sean McVay likes Jackson Dart. Mm-hmm. If for whatever reason, which I don't think he will, if Shedeur fell to 26 and Shedeur and Jackson Dart were both available, I'm taking Shedeur Sanders. Yeah. Even though advanced stuff kind of says Jackson Dart does a lot of things better than even Shedeur and Cam Ward, I think that the star potential, the winning potential is there. But New York and the Giants, the G-men, they are sending 13 members of the front office to Colorado's Pro Day to watch Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. A large contingency. You got the GM, you got everyone's rolling. I mean, the Giants brass is going to be there. Is it obvious that they're taking Shedeur?
I think they are planning for him to be their quarterback of the future. I think there's been a lot of tea leaves pointing to Shedeur and the New York Giants. I personally think New York Giants are a perfect fit for Shedeur Sanders, because I think he's really handled himself well with all the attention that he gets. He's really not, as polarizing and controversial as I feel like media try to make him to be, he really isn't. You don't really see him in trouble. I think the worst thing that people have with him is maybe he's a little too confident for their liking, and he wears a lot of jewelry. But I mean, when you're Deion's kid, I mean, you're into jewelry. I mean, you probably grew up in a house full of it. So, I mean, ultimately, I think Shedeur Sanders is that good. You know, we've talked about this already. I mean, worst offensive line in football, no run game, and turned a 1-win team into a 9-win team. And I think he is as good as a dissector when it comes to distributing the football as there is. I mean, his turnover-worthy plays, I think, was at like 1.3%, 1.4%. Absolutely ridiculous. And I love Jackson Dart. He has some really good intangibles. And I think physically, you can argue he's more physically talented than Shedeur. However, again, I've said this to you. I think Shedeur Sanders is to me, a hybrid between a Geno Smith and a Joe Burrow because of his toughness, accuracy, ability to throw in chaotic pockets, and really, I think the mental tough factor, I think he's the most pro-ready in the draft. So I think it's a no-brainer for the Giants. You have your veterans in Russ and Jameis, and so I think it's the best situation for his development.
I think that's a great point, too, is that, like, it's not about next season for the Giants. They have a very difficult schedule. You have two great veteran quarterbacks in Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. The key word, the operative word there is veteran, not in their primes, not guys that are going to win Super Bowls. I think you throw those guys into the Wolves against a tough schedule. And I think the debate is it the fun pick in Travis Hunter, or is it we could find our franchise quarterback in Shedeur Sanders? Because I think we're a part of the draft where one thing gets said and it's regurgitated by like every person on a radio show, every person on a podcast. And what is the most commonly regurgitated take this year? This is a mid quarterback draft. It's a bad quarterback draft. Next year is so much better. Yeah. So since it's a bad quarterback draft, that means the quarterbacks that are available, you shouldn't take them high. That's not how it works. Because one thing I always know about the draft is this: people are going to be wrong.
Right.
They were wrong about Josh Allen, wrong about Lamar Jackson, wrong about even, you can make the case, Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying that it's the Tom Brady thing because Tom Brady was taking 199.
Right.
But I think that he's absolutely worth the risk because of that. And I think what the Giants can learn from the Daniel Jones situation is if you take Shedeur Sanders and it works, great. You got a Sanders in New York.
Right.
Like, that has the potential. Like, you thought Saquon Barkley was big when he was with the Giants? You thought Odell Beckham Jr. was big when he was with the Giants? Do you know what Shedeur Sanders being great in New York looks like?
Right.
That looks like Madden covers. That looks like magazine covers. That looks like endorsements. I mean, the whole city's going to be flashing that, right? So I think it's absolutely worth the risk. But I think what they can learn, and the valuable lesson, is if it doesn't work, you got to move off of it, right? Daniel Jones, you got to move off of him earlier. Hot take. Here's my hot take. They should have gotten rid of Eli Manning earlier. Right? I mean, so if Sanders isn't that guy, just don't wait 6 years to get rid of him.
Right.
So honestly, I hope the Giants take Shedeur Sanders, and I'll say it right here, flat out. It will be a mistake if they don't take Shedeur Sanders. So I'm hoping I need to see him in a big way. I don't want to see him in Cleveland, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't want to see him in Cleveland just because that's where quarterbacks really go to lose, like to die. Like absolutely. It's a graveyard.
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, switching gears really quick, because we got Lamar Jackson on here, and we're going to fit this in really quick. Lamar Jackson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., they're in a trademark battle over the number 8. So which athlete comes in mind first when you think of the number 8? Is it Lamar Jackson? Is it Dale Earnhardt Jr.? I know in this zip code, we think of Kobe Bryant. We think of a Froby, as we used to call him, right? You kind of got the Froby happening a little bit. You early 2000s Kobe J-Rob here.
The Froby, I like it.
But Lamar Jackson, he filed an opposition claim with the USPTO on Wednesday after Earnhardt attempted to trademark a stylized number 8. Jackson previously registered the trademark Air 8 by Lamar Jackson in 2 variations of that phrase. Jackson's filing argues Earnhardt's attempt to trademark the number 8 would create confusion among consumers. So Jackson's Era 8 trademark is used to sell clothing and duffel bags. Earnhardt's trademark is to stylize the number 8 to sell clothing and toys. So in the notice of opposition, Jackson's legal team, they're arguing that it's well known that his number is known for his notoriety and fame, and that granting Earnhardt's trademark would create a situation where consumers could erroneously buy an Earnhardt shirt that they meant, and they were originally intending to buy a Jackson shirt. So they're saying, hey, you go and buy an Earnhardt shirt, you think it's a Lamar Jackson shirt, it's really a Dale Earnhardt Jr. shirt.
Right.
Okay, my take on this is everything about this is completely bogus. 100% of this from Lamar Jackson's side, from Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s side. You can't own a number.
Yeah.
All right? You can't own a number. Troy Aikman was number 8. I mean, like, this is absolutely ridiculous. There's no slight on any of the athletes. This is no slight on any of those guys. But a number is a number. There's going to be great athletes in the future. They're going to win number 8. We don't know if the next Tom Brady or Michael Jordan or LeBron James wants to wear number 8 at some point and they become greater than Lamar Jackson and Dale Earnhardt Jr. So look, I mean, here's the thing. Little fun trivia fact. Who wore 23 with the Bulls before Michael Jordan? It was a guy named Ollie Mack, right? What if Ollie Mack got this trademark and then Michael Jordan becomes Michael Jordan, right? I mean, this is kind of silly to me.
Yeah, I think this is a bit silly too. I just think because it's over a number, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can understand maybe it was a phrase, a slogan. I mean, it just seems like this is I don't know. I don't have like the right words. I don't want to curse, but like it's an A pull, a butt pull. Like it just seems like we're just doing anything at this point. And if the fact that this is over a number, like I don't understand the big picture of this. Like, I just can't sit back and like see it for what it is. It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. You can't, I don't see how I can trademark a number, man. I really don't. All right, switching gears, the Final Four this week, and it feels like it's going to be this Duke coronation, but the Wall Street Journal put out a story that was about the dark side of Duke NIL. And they try to paint this really dark picture of what Duke does. And to kind of summarize the report, basically it's that Duke has a very private collective that supports just men's basketball. You got 3 Duke alumni incorporated in their One Vision Future Fund. And basically it's a bunch of finance bros that are paying these players for Duke an undisclosed amount of money. It's a lot of private finance stuff. And you look at it and they're trying to make this seem like it's some very dark thing. Like the Public Duke Collective supports other programs as well, but mainly the Duke alumni that are interested, they care about men's basketball, right? So they get the millions they need to pay for Cooper Flag, the best team that money can buy really in the sport. Now, we saw in college football, Ohio State, they were called the best team. Excuse me, guys. They were considered to be the best team that money could buy in football. They won the national championship. Even though they weren't, Texas was paying their players more. But that's kind of the thing to look for this weekend is, will the best team in basketball be the highest paid team? Like we saw in football, the highest paid teams were the teams that really went far and ultimately were able to win. But I think there's nothing to see here. The Wall Street Journal, they spent a lot of time on doing this gotcha thing. I think they failed. It was a waste of journalistic words. This is a big fat nothing burger. This is like Larry Ellison. He bought a freaking Underwood for Michigan to impress his girlfriend. You can do this now. This is legal. In fact, they said this was established in 2023. I'm going to tell you, Duke's NIL collective was established in 1985. Okay. Christian Laettner was not paying for stuff. My favorite 30 for 30 of all time is the Fab 5 one with Michigan. That's my number one favorite I watched over the weekend. Even as a guy who, I'm like a closet Ohio State fan, whatever, because of my mom, but that Michigan team culturally so significant. Baggy shorts, black socks, C-Web. They were getting a bag. Why not? There was Michigan's merchandise sales. This is when millions were different, right? Their merchandise sales went from 1 million after winning a national championship in 1989 to 12 million in the first year. They did this thing where Michigan was coming out for their warm-ups, and they weren't even wearing the Michigan gear. They were all wearing navy blank T-shirts as a silent protest because they were making so much money in Michigan, and the players were getting absolutely none of it.
For it, yeah.
So, I've always been a proponent of players getting their value. I don't think all players should get it. I think the players that it's a free market, right? If Michigan's making money, cool, right? Then they should reap the benefits of it. So I was not blown away by this at all. Okay, finance bros play. Duke's successful. Duke's a hard school to get into. You're going to have a lot of guys at Wall Street that make a lot of money that love Duke. They're the biggest brand in college basketball. So what? They're paying for their players, and they don't got to tell you anything. They don't owe you anything.
Right.
Yeah, this is nothing for me.
This is nothing to me, too. And I think you hit it on the nose when you started, your monologue. I mean, DMAC, it's NIL. Like we're in an era where we're in the wild, wild west. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't rob somebody in jail. You know what I'm saying? You're already in jail.
You ever wish you could take a time machine and go back to UConn and like
start? Oh my God, you don't even understand how much local TV I would have done and commercials if I was raised in the NIL era of college. It would be ridiculous. I wouldn't be fine with if I made $50K for the year. That would be more than enough at that point in my life. I mean, was it
18. Shabazz Napier that was saying like, you know, they couldn't like get meals and things like that. So think about like literally a decade plus where we gone, where players have not been able to get adequate food despite leading to $1 billion TV deals. Yep. Says, hey man, look, I'm telling you, if literally I won the lottery, like literally the very first thing I would do, like not even, it wouldn't be like, oh, pay off, you know, anything for my mom. It wouldn't be buy a house. It wouldn't be, you know, give it to charity. The very first thing I'd do is I would hit up UCLA basketball. Like, who we getting? Okay. Uncle D-Mac is here. Who we got? I'd be paying all these guys $5-6 million. Give me the best players. It's like having a real life fantasy basketball league. So, hey, man, these Duke guys want to do that? Bro, hey, you know, it's what they say. It ain't tricking if you got it.
It ain't tricking if you got it. And I mean, it pays to win.
Yeah, it pays to win. It pays to win. So, nothing to see here. But I will say, I mean, in all seriousness, who's your Final Four pick this weekend? Because I think
men's and women's, or you just both?
Well, women's. I mean, you want to wait? That's a waste. That's a waste of time.
I got a UConn. You know,
might as well get it on wax, right?
Yeah. Make sure we get it enough so everybody knows. I'm taking UConn for the women's, but for the men's, oh my God, it's so hard to pick because it really could go anybody's way. But I'm going to stick with my pick of the Auburn Tigers. I believe in Bruce Pearl. I like Johnny Broome. Tahad Pettyford is putting on for the state of New Jersey. So I'm a rock with the Auburn Tigers. But I do think if they don't win it all, then Duke's winning it all.
I like the pick. You've been consistent with Auburn. You've been very, very consistent with Auburn. And they're a team that, like you said, Bruce Pearl, you'll kind of look at their route to the Final Four. Their last game, the Elite Eight, you beat Michigan State. Before that, you beat Michigan. Man, they basically own the state of Michigan, by the way. Shout out to Auburn for that. But, yeah, you look at that team, the player to watch out for with Chad Baker, Mazzara. I mean, that guy is a baller, 6'7". He's someone that is the guy to look for. I think for me with Auburn, they got to hit threes because they had those cold stretches where they couldn't hit threes. Throughout the tournament, they made just 31% of their threes. So it hasn't cost them yet. Well, they're facing a Florida team that went 13 for 33 from beyond the arc when they faced them back in February. So I do like the fact that this is a little SEC rematch there. So I like that too because I feel like you're going to see a better game early. Yeah. It's not, okay, let's fill each other out. Hopefully they'll get kind of right into it. But I think that it's just limiting those Florida runs, man. Florida, I mean, you saw some insane runs. Florida scored 53 points in the final 16 minutes of regulation against Norfolk State. Like, they can explode on you. Walter Clayton Jr. is really, really good.
He's the guy. It is Walter Clayton Jr. Walter Clayton Jr., D-Mac, can be the one player that if he just gets really hot for 2 games, can be the legitimate difference between a Florida national championship and a Final Four loss because they run as he goes, and he has unconscious confidence when it comes to shooting a three. Like, this is a former 4-star quarterback who decided to go to Iona and bet on himself, and now he's here, and like, he shows it every time on the basketball court.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's a big moment for him, and really it speaks to just the transfer portal and being able to elevate your program very quickly. I think on the Duke side, the one player I'm looking at is Tyrese Proctor. Because everyone's going to look at Cooper Flagg, everyone's going to look at Kneppel, and you know that's going to be Houston's strategy going into that one. How do we stop those 2 guys? So Proctor is someone that can step up. He shoots better than 40% from 3-point range. The perimeter shooting is a way to kind of loosen up that Houston defense. So I look for him. I got to go with UCLA women's to win it all. But I'm going. I can't pick Duke. If I pick Duke, I like vaporize on the set and explode. And you're right, but my head says that Duke should win for sure. But you know what? H-Town has never had a national championship, and Kelvin Sampson has been a great coach for a long time. Houston is a program that has a rich history, really, but they just have never won that national championship. You made it to the Final Four. I think Houston with that defense, and really this is just me trying to will something. I really think Duke probably cuts down the nets, but if Houston beats Duke, that kind of it's like you don't beat Duke and then not finish the job, right? Right. Here's the odds. The odds are this: Duke's even. Florida's a plus 285. Houston's third at plus 500. Auburn is at plus 550. So Duke, pretty heavy favorites, followed by Florida, Houston, and Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, Duke should be the favorite. They're the most talented team of the four remaining. When I look at this whole Final Four tournament, it's really just, to be honest, it is four completely different teams. And they beat you in four different ways. Like, if Houston decides they want to be the bad boy Pistons, them winning it all would not surprise me. Their defense is suffocating. And listen, we know defense wins championships. And so, they are, I think, they're the team that's probably best suited to slow down Duke's talented roster. So this is going to be a career-defining matchup for Kelvin Sampson.
I think Houston's going to win. I think they're sneaky, just like they kind of hide in that conference all season. And it's wild, too, because they have the country's best defense. They have the best defense, so it's about slowing down the most efficient offense. So it's kind of a one of those matchups where it's a strength on strength and then let the best team win. But I think in some of those games, it's can you come out hot and shoot in arena? There's adjusting to that. I think defense travels. So give me Houston. I mean, they're just a weird team, though. I mean, they're such a weird team. They're 322nd in the country in free throw attempts per game. I mean, there's something weird about them, but still, they're going to play tough. I think this is their year to really prove that they are one of those elite programs. They've been knocking on the door down. The question is, can they kick that door down against Duke? But if Duke, I mean, they're one of the best three-point shooting teams. I mean, you're looking at 25 threes per game. And Houston, they do allow 3-point attempts, so that's gonna be what to watch for. There is Houston defending the three, but give me H-Town winning the national championship. But okay, let's finish things up with this wild fight in baseball. This went viral, but it turns out it was from 4 years ago. But still, let's check it out. It's not like a good baseball fight, and this happened at the minor league level. Gets hit in the butt, swings the bat. Swing, and then he used the hand and the bat twice. And then he throws his glove. That was a little zesty, kind of. I mean, if you use a bat, bro, you got to be suspended for life.
Yeah, the bat is crazy. I thought that was ridiculous. He's trying to, that got to be assault. Like,
that's got to be assault. We're going to jail on pressing charges.
Yeah.
If he used a torpedo bat, he'd be like all the way in Pluto by now. If you hit him with that, boom. He kind of half swung, though. But then he gets him in the back, which is kind of petty right there. Glove. He's kind of going at it. My whole thing is like, then the glove comes in from the side right there. And the guy's kind of kicking a little bit. And then he's slamming there with the glove. A lot of hold me back. This is, I call it, the big group hug.
Yeah.
But don't use a bat. Don't use a bat. That's out of line right there. But, what's crazy? You know what I didn't see in there, which surprised me? What? I didn't see Isaiah Stewart. I thought somehow, some way, he's got to be, if you look closely, Isaiah Stewart's in here somewhere, right? Someone point out that you've never seen an Isaiah Stewart highlight other than him getting into fights. This dude needs to get into MMA.
There's a timeline of his history on TBL Instagram, so go check that out.
Go check that out over on IG. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Big Lead. We'll be live for Dodgers Dugout Live. We got some moves talking about the Freddie Freeman IL and who the Dodgers called up. So you want to tune in for that. Final Four this week, men's and women's. Big games in the NBA, but we'll be back with you Monday. And until next time, I'm out.